Okay, so agenda for today is to understand okay. Understand yung basics and foundations of engineering mechanics in general and yung statics of rigid bodies specifically. So again, I understand na some of these are familiar to you na. So I'll try to explain it a little bit quicker, and I hope mag-gets nyo rin siya better this time. Okay? Next, we'll recap Newton's laws of motions and gravitational attraction and get an overview of numerical representation fundamentals. So this part, yung numerical representation, important siya kasi ako I usually set guidelines on how you would write your final answer. Okay? So ito yung guideline nyo on how to do it. And lastly, yung online Kahoot, yung sabi ko sa inyo that I used to manage yung student participation pag online class, we'll try it out. Okay, so today is more of like a test day. Tingnan natin kung kaya nyo siyang gamitin effectively sa internet connection nyo, saka sa devices nyo, no, nang madali, or para kung mamapil nyo din kung ano yung feeling na palipat-lipat ng app. Okay? So, hindi po ito podcast ha. Pipindutin kayo mamaya, hindi lang makikinig. Next, first is course syllabus. So I have sent this na sa inyong classroom, but I would like to point out a little bit details. So first is, this is statics of rigid bodies. Okay, ENG 407. This course deals with forces acting on non-moving bodies. Okay, non-moving bodies tayo because we are statics. It covers concurrent and non-concurrent forces. Actually, mali yung non-moving. Kasi pwede kasing moving ka, pero static ka. Anyway, I'll tell you about that later, no? It covers concurrent and non-concurrent forces, operation within the free body concept, equilibrium of coplanar and non-coplanar systems, friction forces, centroids, and moments of inertia. Of course, I'm expecting you have your prerequisites na physics, saka integral calculus. The integral calculus part, hindi nyo pa siya agad mararamdaman na kailangan nyo siya ngayon. Pero yung physics, gagamitin na natin siya. So, pakikalkal na siya sa memory, pakilagay na siya sa ibabaw para readily accessible siya. Okay? Criteria for assessment, standard sa ilalim, 25% midterm, 25% final, standard yan, same as others. 15% problem sets, so ito yung mga week-long na take-home activities. I hope you do them on your own, but you have the liberty to get assistance, highlight on assistance sa inyong mga peers or even sa akin. Okay? Hindi lang basta kopya po. Ano? Kasi nag-check ako ng detail. Well, pag problem set naman, usually, kung saan mali yung isa, dun din yung isa. Bakit kaya? Pero I check. No, hindi ako based lang sa handwriting na kahit anong maisulat nyo, value na maganda ang sulat ay tama na. Okay? Nag-check po ako ng problem sets. And sometimes, para rin ma-motivate kayo to solve it on your own, nag-a-add ako ng personalization dun sa problem. Using your SR code. No? So, minsan, halimbawa, yung isang value sa given, halimbawa, yung mass or yung distance, sabihin ko, use your SR code as the mass or as the distance. Okay? So, mangyayari, kailangan nyo siyang i-solve kasi yung sagot ng iba yung sagot kasi iba yung mass or distance na gamitin nila. Depende sa SR nila. Okay? Quizzes are your short activities. Minsan take home, most of the time class-based. And 10% sheet works and class activities. So doon napapasok yung mga pag nag-recitation ako sa online or yung mga sagot nyo sa Kahoot, or yung mga seat work na mabibilis lang sa classroom, then papasok sa 10%. Pati attendance, 10%. Then, next textbook. So yung Hibbeler RC 2016 statics, yung gamit ko main. Pero I know most of you have your Dimayoga ST 2023 statics of rigid body na material already. So, pwede nyo rin siyang gawin as basis. Kasi, nung binabrowse ko, based din pala siya sa Hibbeler. So, basically, yung Hibbeler, kinompile niya, then yun na yung book niya. So, it's a good book actually. You can still use it. Binabasa ko rin, nakahiram ako ng copy from another student, and maganda siyang guide actually. Pero I try to use different sources para may additional knowledge kayo. Or additional learning aside dun sa handout. No? But you can still use it. Next is grading system. Of course, I'm hoping every one of you would aim for the 1.0, which is excellent. Ano? As of now, all of you are uno standing. Sabi ko nga, kasi wala pa naman kayong errors or mistakes na sinasubmit. So keep that standing, keep it up there, no? Para sabihin natin, nag-retake pero uno naman, or 'di ba? Line of nakaka-proud pa rin. Tapos naintindihan mo pa ng ayos yung subject. So it's kumbaga pabor pa sa gagamitin natin to your advantage yung nangyayari ngayon. No, na mas matututunan nyo yung course, and since this is one of the important foundations din for your machine elements, no? So, kumbaga, pag nag-gets ito ng ayos, medyo mas madali na yung mga susunod na ME subjects. Okay? Satisfactory is 2.5. Actually, satisfactory, taka kayo, bakit nasa 2.5 yung satisfactory, hindi sa 3? Kasi yung 2.5, yun yung parang satisfactory. Anything below that actually is hindi na ka-satisfactory. Okay? So always try, pasa pa rin, pero if you can do better. If you can aim higher, better. Okay? So aim natin yung uno. Since na dun pa lang tayo, huwag natin hayaang mag-slide down tayo bababa yung starting natin. Okay? Next is students with a computed grade of 70 to 74 will be given an appropriate remedial activity. Okay, so if you are within the 70 to 74 range, wala po tayong 4, pero possible is, pero magre-removals tayo. Okay, so baka incomplete muna yung grade until makapag-removals, tapos once mag-removals, you'll get a 3 or a 5. Okay, class policy. Hindi ko na siya isa-isahin, but I would like to highlight this part, yung 10%. So that's 10% of your absences. You cannot exceed 10% of absent based on the total hours required per course per semester. Okay, so yung semester may 18 weeks, tapos 3 hours per week. So that's 54 hours. So 10% nun is 5.4. Okay, so 5.4 given na 1.5 hours ng ating class, so that gives you around 4 sessions na pwede kayong mag-absent. So on the 5th, medyo, that's unexcused, medyo for the, baka ma-fail na tayo. Okay? Ang key naman dito is unexcused. Okay? So any absent nyo na may reason naman na maayos, just tell it to me. No? PM nyo lang ako para hindi siya ma-count against dun sa 4 na allowed absences nyo. Allowed unexcused absences nyo. Okay? Especially pag may exam, inform me. Pag midterms of finals yan, may make-up exam. Well, pag problem set kasi take home yun, so doesn't matter kung nakapasok kayo or hindi. Pag quizzes at na-miss nyo, I don't give re-quiz, pero I take yung average ng other quizzes nyo as the grade of that missed quiz, kung excused. Okay? Pero syempre, kung unexcused yan, 0 pa rin. Okay, so ating assessment, we are on week 4. So kung mapansin nyo, meron tayong SitWork/classwork today. So yun yung ating Kahoot mamaya during the discussion. Tapos pansin nyo, week 5, may quiz. You know. So next week yan, since face-to-face tayo, may quiz tayo about dun sa vector addition, subtraction, didiscuss natin last week, and dun sa topic na didiscuss ko next week. Na discussion muna tayo tapos saka yung quiz. Okay? Question. Dito. So, papansin nyo pala dito, 1, 2, 3, 4 na 4 times. Tapos, quiz 1, 2, 3. Tatlo lang naman. Okay. Tapos, problem set 1. Ba't dalawa lang ito? Mali ito. Dapat 4 yan eh. Baka sa ibang class to. So, 4 yan. 4 na quiz, 4 na prob set. Okay, tapos final exam, ito, 17, midterm exam, week 9. Okay, pero 4 yan. Mas madalas tayong magagawa ng activities para mas magamay nyo yung pagsasolve on your own. Okay, next Kahoot. Nakagamit na kayo ng Kahoot before. Para siyang website, tapos lalagay mo yung game pin, tapos yun, parang may questions kasi doon na lalabas one by one. So, sasagot ka lang doon. Tapos ako naman, nakukuha ko yung scores after the class. Nung total yung correct answers doon. Okay, so yun yung ginagamit ko not to grade. Of course, if may issues naman, di naman siya super big, like tipong 5% agad ng grade yung Kahoot today, no? Kasi marami naman siya. I'll try na every online class may ganito, no? But, yun, kumbaga, sana masanay kayo or mag-guess nyo yung diskarte on how you can do this on your devices. Okay? So, nasa ng pin ko? Yun. So, today's pin, 323343. So, punta kayo sa www.kahoot.it. No need to register. Para diretso kayo lagay ng pin, tapos yung SR code nyo yung ilagay nyo as your nickname. Be careful lang kasi parang pag nilagay mo yung nickname, hindi mo siya mapapalitan after. So be sure na SR code nyo yung ilalagay nyo. Tama siya before you hit enter. Napatry ko. Okay, so today, try nyong i-observe. Kasi for some of you, baka kailangan nyo mag-alt-tab. For some of you naman, siguro may dalawang device. So, take a feel of how Kahoot will run. Kasi sa site, minsan sa site ko naman, ako yung nawawala. So, nadi-disconnect kayo lahat. Tapos minsan naman yung students daw. Minsan, pag matagal ka daw hindi nag-open, parang nag-sleep siya sa background. So, nadi-disconnect, tapos hindi na ulit nakakonect. So, yung mga ganong scenario, observe nyo today. Tapos, give kayong feedback mamaya sa GC. Kung saan kayo nahirapan, kung saan di-disconnect, kung anong challenge, ganyan. Okay? So, join lang kayo. 323, lagay ko na dito para makapag-next ako. Ayan siya. 323, 343. Ay, 323, 343. Okay. Next. Okay, so testing tayo. Doon sa mga naka-join na, what is your target grade for ENG for 07? For 07 to kasi gamit ko to kanina. So, usually, ang style ko, ganito, may timer sa screen. So, yun yung time na pipili kayo dito. Or kung may solution, Magsasolve kayo dito. Tapos when this timer runs out, yung sa Kahoot app, may timer ulit doon. Para naman, kasi doon pa lang lalabas yung options nyo. So pag lumabas, meron kayong 20 seconds to choose your answer. Okay, so try natin. So what is your target grade in this course? So may, hindi ko sure kung nakikita nyo, pero 20 seconds yung timer sa Kahoot. So yun yung window nyo para sumagot sa Kahoot. Pero separate yung time dito sa PowerPoint. Okay, so mga sumagot, mayroong sumagot ng 2.5 to 3. Medyo kinakabahan pa yan, pero kayang-kaya nyo mag-1 to 1.5. Naniniwala ako dyan. Okay, may sumagot ng 175 to 2.25. Okay, so ang key lang dito, confidence. Okay, trust sa sarili. Kaya nyo yan. Okay, we'll try to, yun nga sabi nyo nung first meeting, do better this time. Okay, and hopefully, your results will be better than this. Okay, so balik tayo sa slides. So introduction na tayo sa engineering mechanics. Okay, so mechanics is the area of math and physics that is concerned with the relationship between force, matter, and motion among physical objects. Okay, so yung mechanics lagi yan about force, laging about matter, matter in the form of mass, and motion. Tapos yung motion, usually dinidescribe siya using acceleration. Okay, and lagi nyo makikita in all of the mechanics branches, yung F equals ma na equation. Okay, so yun. So basically, F equals ma, relationship lagi ng force, matter, and motion, pero different physical objects. What do you mean physical objects? Ano daw yung relationship ng F equals ma sa isang box na nasa table, for example? Anong relationship ng F equals ma sa tubig na nasa baso or tubig na nasa garden hose? Ano yung relationship ng force equals ma naman sa eroplanong lumilipad? Okay, so lagi yung force equals ma, nag-iiba-iba lang siya na application. Yung parang assumption sa application. Kasi minsan may assumption tayo na the object is not moving. Meron namang case na may assumption na the object is moving. Meron din namang ibang case na pag yung object mo naman is too big, there's assumption that the object is flowing. Okay, so iba-iba lang ng application or consideration, pero yung core concept ng F equals ma, laging nandun. Okay? So pag may nakikita kayong K dito, hindi yan Chris Aquino, kaya Corina Sanchez. Okay? Ibig sabihin yan, may upcoming na Kahoot question or Kahoot activity. Okay? So parang pag nakita nyo yan, medyo i-altab-altab nyo na yung Kahoot nyo kung buhay pa siya. Okay? Kasi may gagawin dyan. So for this case, in-next ko yung Kahoot, you can switch to there. Question is, what Newton law of motion represents F equals ma? Okay, so the correct answer is the second law. Okay? So second law, pakita ko mamaya, yun yung may relationship na F equals ma. Okay? So next tayo, balik tayo sa slides. So mechanics, given that F equals, sabi natin, F equals ma, sa lahat ng bagay, F equals ma. So we just have to break it down kung saang object or saang scenario ina-apply yung F equals ma. Okay? But everything of that is mechanics. So first is fluid mechanics. So fluid mechanics, ina-apply natin yung F equals ma sa context ng fluids. So fluids daw are matter in a state that does not hold its shape and dynamically react to the forces acting on it. Okay, ibig sabihin, fluids daw are composed. Ano ba yung mga state of matter na does not hold its shape? So that comprises yung liquid tsaka yung gases. So if you are investigating the relationship of force and motion and mass of liquids and gases, then doon tayo papasok sa fluid mechanics. Okay, so that's your ME 416 na tinuro ko last sem. Okay, so hope to see you there. Then, next naman, saan tayo? So yun yung fluid. So anything related sa fluid, nagpo-flow na fluid, fluid sa baso, fluid na nasa, remember, fluid pwedeng hangin. So hangin na wind, pwede, yung hangin na may electric fan, hangin ng sa vacuum, pwede din. Okay, so pasok lahat yan sa fluid mechanics. Next naman is yung mechanics of deformable body. So by definition, deformable body, these are objects in a state that an applied force will result to a deformation on its shape instead of absorbing the force. Okay? Pag nag-apply ka kasi ng force, remember, the force is a push or a pull. Pag nag-apply ka ng force sa isang object, dalawang pwede mangyari. Pwedeng walang mangyari sa object, pero i-absorb lang niya yung force na in-apply mo. That's the first case. Second case naman, may force kang in-apply, yung object natin nag-deform. Okay? So, imbes na i-absorb niya yung force, mas pinili niyang sumabay sa alon at hayaan ang sarili niyang ma-deform imbes na kontrahin niya. Parang gano'n. Okay? Yung mga object na hinahayaan lang nila yung sarili nila mag-deform, then those are deformable bodies. And the study of F equals MA in those applications, pasok siya sa MDB. Okay, so this is your subject sa sunod ng SRB. Okay, kaya kailangan nating ipasa na ang SRB kasi may MDB pang kasunod. Okay? Actually, DRB pala muna. Dynamics of rigid bodies ang next nyo, tapos MDB. Mechanics of deformable bodies. Tapos saka pa ang fluid mechanics. So lahat ng branch ng mechanics na dadaanan nyo. Okay? So that's your deformable bodies. Again, deformable bodies, dalawang pwede mangyari sa object. Either magde-deform siya, so deformable body siya, or kung hindi siya mag-deform, i-absorb niya yung force mo. Kung in-absorb niya yung force mo, then considered siya as rigid body. So rigid bodies naman are object in a state that an applied force will result to an internal reaction to the body instead of deformation. Okay? So imbes na mag-deform, kinontra niya or nilabanan niya or pinigilan niya ang sarili niyang mag-deform with that force na in-apply mo. So to be able, para ma-resist yun, or para makontra niya yung force mo, mag-a-apply siya ngayon ng internal reaction force para labanan or kontrahin yung applied force mo. Okay, so that one we will discuss later. And then, under the mechanics of rigid bodies, may dalawa tayong considerations. Yung statics and yung dynamics. So may key ulit dito, so may Kahoot question. Ipa tayo sa Kahoot. For the question is, ay scoreboard pala muna. Tapos ito yung next question, which is more rigid or less likely to deform with an applied force? Okay, so arrange nyo siya, nasa taas yung pinaka-soft, nasa ilalim yung pinaka-hard na object. Pinaka-soft, ibig sabihin, pag in-applyan ko ng force, most likely magde-deform siya. More rigid naman is yung pag in-applyan ko ng force, most likely i-absorb niya lang yon. Hindi siya made-deform. Okay? So, sa taas yung pinaka-soft, tapos sa ilalim yung pinaka-rigid. Okay, galing ah. Okay, so again, we don't call it soft, we call it least rigid lang. Okay, so lagi tayong base sa rigidity. So the least rigid is gold. This is pure gold. So pure gold, pag ang pure gold, pag pinuwersa mo siya, kumbaga, mas padali mo siyang ma-deform. Okay? Medyo laksan mo lang yung force, ma-deform na siya. Aluminum, kaya pa rin, pero pag hindi mo kaya, ihampas mo lang yung object mo sa pader, ma-deform na siya. Okay? Kita nyo, mas matibay, iPhone 15, no? Pero again, if ihampas mo sa pader yung iPhone 15, kaya pa rin siyang ma-deform. Okay? Yung diamond, of course, so one of the most hardest material, so kaya pa rin naman, pero extreme levels of force na yung need mo para ma-deform siya. Okay? So that's the concept of rigidity. Okay? For our SRB, our discussion would mainly comprise of rigid bodies lang. So hindi tayo mag-analyze ng mga bagay na nagde-deform. Okay? Our analysis is always assuming that the object will always absorb our force, or kumbaga, it will react with an equal opposite reaction dun sa ginagawa natin. Hindi siya mag-deform. Ng assumption lagi natin sa statics of rigid bodies. Okay? Good job. Good job sa sagot. And yun, sana na-feel nyo yung feeling nung kasi parang matagal yung part na yun, yung mag-arrange ka. I don't know how it works sa mga devices nyo. Okay, next. Sa slides na ulit tayo. First sub-branch of mechanics of rigid bodies is dynamics. Okay, so this is this includes yung accelerated motion of bodies, mga bodies na gumagalaw, or bodies with changing velocities, or bumibilis or bumabagal. So ito yung mga objects na coming to rest, or nasa rest pero biglang nag-motion, or yung mga bodies with relative motion. Relative motion naman, ito yung mga object na gumagalaw na, pero yung reference frame niya gumagalaw din. Okay, so for example, ikaw, nasa kotse, ay hindi, tangit pala yun. Ikaw, nasa treadmill, tapos yung treadmill, for example, nasa kotse. Okay? So yung treadmill itself, gumagalaw siya, kasi nasa kotse siya eh. So with respect to the ground, gumagalaw siya. Tapos ikaw, tumatakbo ka sa ibabaw ng treadmill. So, gumagalaw din yung ikaw. Differently dun sa galaw ng treadmill itself. So, may relative motion kayong dalawa. Okay, so that's part of dynamics. Lucky for us, hindi natin scope yan. Okay? The scope ngayon natin is yung statics, which are bodies in equilibrium. Okay? So, pag sinabing body in equilibrium, ibig sabihin, walang external force na nagdi-dictate ng motion niya. Okay? Pwedeng may external force, pero nababalance out ng internal force. So, equilibrium sila. Pero pag dumating kasi yung point na hindi na kaya ng internal forces mo na i-balance or i-counter yung external force na in-apply mo, then dun ka napapasok sa dynamics. Kasi mag-start ka na magkaroon ng motion or change in motion. Okay? Yung bodies with constant velocity, actually, bodies in constant velocity are considered still in equilibrium. Pero hindi siya considered as static. So, dynamic siya, pero in equilibrium siya. Okay, so magkaiba pong concept yung static at dynamic sa equilibrium at non-equilibrium. Okay? Pero basically, yung statics, not moving tayo. Okay? Yung velocity may or may not be zero. This is with respect dun sa concept ng equilibrium. Kasi an object in equilibrium may be not moving, pero an object that is moving may also be in equilibrium as long as constant yung velocity niya or constant yung motion niya. Ibig sabihin, walang force na nagpapabilis or walang force na nagpapabagal sa kanya. Okay, question po doon. constant lang siya. Kumbaga, floating lang siya. Walang tumutulak sa kanya or nagpapatigil sa kanya. Yan. So, as long as walang external factors na nakaka-affect sa'yo, equilibrium ka. Equilibrium yun nga, hindi rigid. Hindi rin static. Ibang concept yung dalawa. May K ulit dito. So, I have another question sa Kahoot. So, this is the standing. Q3, in reality, most objects follow a rigid behavior instead of a deformable behavior, true or false. So, in reality ito, most objects daw follow a rigid behavior instead of a deformable behavior. Okay. So the correct answer is false. Bakit po false? Balik sa slide. In reality, all objects are deformable. Okay? Remember, pag static, ang behavior niya, pag nag-apply ka ng force, i-absorb niya. Okay? Titiisin niya. Hindi siya magpapadeform. Parang doon lang siya. Para siyang... Sino nga yung evolve ni Caterpie? Metapod. Para siyang metapod na nag-harden. Ganun lang siya. Hindi siya magpapadeform. Titiisin niya ng lahat. Okay? Pero eventually, meron kasi point na hanggang doon lang yung kaya niyang i-absorb. Certainly, all objects at a certain point, mag-fail siya. Okay? And once ma-reach yung point na yon, kahit gano'n pa kalaki yun, it will start deformation. Deformation in the form na mabubutas, mababali, mapupunit. Okay? So, at that point, nag-deform na siya. So, papasok na siya at that point, pa-consider na siya as deformable. Okay? Ibig sabihin, all objects are deformable in reality. However, for our analysis, we are considering the objects as static as a simplification assumptions. Kasi we are not concerned, or hindi naman kasi tayo aabot dun sa point na made-deform or mag-fail na yung object natin. We are only analyzing the case na rigid siya. Okay? So, for example, may capacity siya to absorb. Meron kang plate, halimbawa. Meron kang gear. Iwan natin ME. Meron kang gear, and may capacity siya to absorb 1 million torque of force bago mag-break yung bakal, bago mabungi yung teeth. Okay? Pero yung analysis naman natin, hanggang mga 1,000, 10,000 Newton meters of torque lang. So, hindi natin ma-reach yung failure point niya. So, sa analysis natin, rigid siya kasi kaya niyang i-absorb yung force na kino-consider natin sa analysis natin. Pero in reality, meron siyang hangganan. It cannot absorb an unlimited amount of force, which makes every object in existence deformable. Pero sa analysis natin, we can assume it as static kasi hindi naman natin aabutan yung point of failure niya. Okay? Question po. Okay, next. If wala, pasok tayo kay Newton's law of motion. Ito yung tatlo. Okay? You'll remember, the first law states a body in motion remains in motion, or a body at rest remains at rest unless acted upon by a force. Okay, so ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo. Kung ako'y halaman, dito lang ako. Okay? Hindi ako magsisway kasi wala akong force na feel from the outside. Steady lang ako. At rest lang ako. Pero kung in motion naman ako, steady lang din yung motion ko. Parang floating lang ako. Walang pumipigil sa akin, walang tumutulak, walang nagbabagal. Okay? So that's the first law. Kumbaga, kung anong state ko, yun lang ako. Unless may external factor. For example, sabi dyan, if you have a soccer ball, it will remain at rest unless acted on by an unbalanced force. Okay, so pag sinipa mo siya, syempre gagalaw siya. So this is the case na at rest yung object. Kung in motion naman yung object, an object in motion will continue with constant speed and direction unless acted on by an unbalanced force. Okay, so pwede rin siyang i-apply sa moving objects na walang external force. Okay? However, kasi may mga external force na hindi natin mapipigilan, like gravity. Okay? So, kaya, lahat ng gumagalaw na object, feeling natin, titigil siya. Kasi, merong external force na nag-act sa kanya na pumipigil ng motion niya. Pero kung walang gravity, for example, sa space, okay? Yung bola mo, nagka-travel ng 1 kilometer per hour, halimbawa, it will travel 1 kilometer per hour forever kung walang gravity na makikialam sa kanya. Okay, so that is how the first law works. Physically steady. Steady hindi gumagalaw or steady gumagalaw. Question po? Wala. Second law. So again, second law, familiar na familiar kayo. Force equals mass times acceleration. Okay, so F equals ma. So this relationship allows us to create relationships between F equals ma. For example, for most of our analysis, m for the same mass, for the same object, m is constant. Kasi mass naman for an object is constant unless dagdagan mo siya or bawasan ng physically. Okay? So kung m mo ay constant, you can create a relationship na pag nilakahan mo yung force, lalakad din yung acceleration mo. Or pag binawasan mo yung force, babawasan mo rin yung acceleration. Okay? We can also use this, for example, sa analogy on the lower left. If you apply a force to the cart, same force, pero yung isang cart may laman, yung isa wala. Pag that same force, magre-result siya nung cart moving faster kaysa dun sa kung puno yung cart. Okay? Tapos kung gusto mo magsabay yung speed mo or yung galaw ng dalawang mong cart kahit walang laman yung isa tapos yung isa maraming laman, mas malakas syempre yung tulak ko dun sa may laman para makasabay ka dun sa wala. Okay? So kumbaga nagbabalance out yung tatlo, F equals ma. Pag lumaki yung isa, para ma-maintain na constant yung isa, kailangan mag-adjust ng isa rin. Okay? So lagi yung parang holy trinity of engineering. F equals ma, na pag gumalaw yung isa, may effect sa dalawang values pa. Okay, question? Wala. Ayos, unang standing pa din. Okay, next tayo, third law. Third law naman, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so ito yung sinabi natin. Pag naglagay ka ng force sa isang bagay, may reaction force yan. Okay? Now, depende na lang dun sa object kung ano yung magiging effect ng reaction force. Okay? Pwede kasi yung in-apply mong force, ang naging impact niya dun sa object, gumalaw. That's one. Nag-apply ka ng force sa object, gumalaw yung object. Second possibility, nag-apply ka ng force sa object, na-deform yung object. Okay? So, hindi siya gumalaw, pero na-deform siya. That's second. Third possibility naman, nag-apply ka ng force sa isang object, hindi gumalaw, hindi rin na-deform yung object. So sa case na yon, akala mo walang nangyari, pero in actuality, merong reaction force dun sa object na kumontra or nag-balance dun sa force na in-apply mo. And since yung object has a capacity to generate that reaction force, napigilan niya yung deformation or napigilan niya yung paggalaw niya because of the force you applied. Okay? So, depende yan sa object, sa nature ng object, kung ano yung magiging reaction niya. Okay? So, for example, dalawang object, dalawang marble, for example, pinagdikit mo, tapos you push them together, hindi naman sila madideform. Okay? Unless siguro sobrang lakas ng pagka-press mo, but in general, hindi siya madideform. Pero may nangyayari siya na force reaction. Okay? May force kasi na ini-induce si object 1 kay object 2. Yun yung F12. Tapos meron ding opposite and equal reaction force na ini-induce si object 2 kay object 1. Yun yung F21. Okay, tapos nagkontrahan kasi sila. So parang ang ending nag-balance out yung forces. Pero does not mean they do not exist. Okay, they exist pero nag-balance out lang siya kaya wala nangyaring movement or deformation dun sa object. Another example niyan is pag may table tapos may libro ka, okay? So pag nagpatong ka ng libro sa table, of course, meron siyang gravity force na hindi natin mapipigilan. Okay? And that is acting constantly sa libro. Okay? The force between the book and the earth constantly tries to pull the book downward towards the center of the earth. Yun yung gravity. Okay? However, dahil may capacity yung table to create a reaction force para kontrahin yung gravitational force ng earth, hindi nahuhulog yung book mo. Kasi kumbaga pasok pa sa capacity ng table na kontrahin or i-resist yung gravitational force or yung weight ng book. Okay? Kasi baka sabi ng table at 100 grams, kaya ko yan, kontrahin ko yan. Okay? Pero kung for example, yung book mo naging 1,000 tons na for some reason, syempre yung libro, syempre yung table, hindi ko na kayang i-resist yan. Kumbaga, hanggang 1,000 kilo lang yung capacity kong mag-resist. Anything beyond that, hindi ko na kayang i-resist. So, dahil nag-excess siya sa capacity ng table mag-resist, nag-result siya sa deformation of the table, o nasira yung table, or yung book gumalaw. Nagkaroon ng motion. Kasi wala nang kumokontrang force dun sa gravity. Okay? Pero as long as may kumokontrang force dun sa external push or pull mo, walang mangyayaring motion or deformation. Okay? So may kina naman. So balik tayo kay Kahoot for your next question. Ang next question, related dito, to which branch of mechanics is the third law of motion most evident? Okay, so the correct answer, statics of rigid bodies. Bakit? Kasi for statics of rigid bodies, very evident yung pagkakaroon ng equal and opposite reaction. Okay, for example, ikaw, tinutulak mo yung wall, na nag-apply ka halimbawa ng 1 Newton force sa wall, para hindi gumalaw yung wall, kailangan magkaroon ng reaction force sa wall na 1 Newton din. Para ba-balance out niya. Okay? As long as yung object na ina-applyan mo ng force, kaya niyang mag-generate ng equal and opposite reaction dun sa binibigay mo, hindi siya gagalaw. Static pa rin yung behavior niya. Pero once na hindi niyo na kayang i-resist or hindi niyo na kayang mag-provide ng equal and opposite reaction dun sa binibigay mo, dun na papasok yung dynamics kung gagalaw siya, or deformable bodies kung mali-deform siya at masisira. Okay? But again, for our statics of rigid bodies discussion, we will always stay dun sa range na kayang i-absorb ng object yung force na binibigay natin. So magkakaroon lang ng equal and opposite reaction, and most of the time, yun yung goal natin, na hanapin or isolve yung find the reaction forces or the reaction moment with these applied forces. Laging ganun iikot yung problems natin. We are finding the equal and opposite reaction. Okay? Okay pa kayo? So next na tayo. Okay, next. Law of gravitational attraction. So ito naman, I don't know if nadaanan nyo rin to last time, but basically it will be the first formula you will learn in statics of rigid bodies. Okay? So Newton din siya, si Newton din ang gumawa, pero hindi siya isinama sa 3 laws of motion. It's a separate law of gravitational attraction. And it states now that any two objects existing has an attractional force or quote-unquote gravity force acting towards each other. Okay? Lagi daw yan. Any two objects. Ikaw tsaka yung cellphone mo, ikaw tsaka yung monitor mo, even ikaw tsaka yung mga tao sa other side of the earth, may gravitational attraction siya. Okay? Pero syempre, magkakaiba lang ng magnitude. Pero meron. Most of the time, sobrang liit lang, kaya negligible. Pero, it exists. Lahat ng bagay yan. So, ikaw versus everything around you, may force yan, individual. So, merong gravitational force ka sa cellphone mo, sa laptop mo, sa pader dyan sa room mo, sa ilaw, sa mga klase mo, kahit di mo kasama, may gravitational force. Meron lang sigurong malakas-lakas yung gravitation, kaya sa person yun ka attracted, pero sa lahat ng tao, meron, nag-exist siya. Okay? And first bullet point, gravity is one of the fundamental forces of nature. Okay? Madalas natin gamitin yung gravity towards Earth. No, yung G equals 9.81. Pero yun ay towards Earth lang. Our object in question towards Earth. Pero meron din G na object to object, object to me, object to you. Kaya nag-exist sila. Hindi lang sila super significant, tsaka most of the time negligible. Second bullet point, gravitational force is always attractive. So, lagi po siyang towards each other. Wala po tayong gravitational force na repulsion. Okay? Unless siguro ang usapan natin ay sa magnetic poles. Pero gravity, lagi siya attracting. Okay? And third bullet point, gravitational force exists between any two objects and always act along the line joining the two objects. Okay? So again, from your vector discussion last week, we represent those forces. Remember, force to. So these are vectors. So may direction, may magnitude. Okay? So the magnitude part, depende sa arrow, depende sa value. The direction naman is always acting towards each other. The object. Okay? So if we would reach a point na we would solve gravitational attraction graphically or trigonometrically / geometrically, your direction of force would be towards the objects in question, yung towards each other. Yun yung gagamitin yung direction pag in-add-subtract nyo yung mga forces nyo. Okay? Question po. Wala. So, yung gravitational attraction na yan, bigyan natin ng value. Okay? So, F daw, or your force of gravitation between two particles, can be obtained by multiplying G, which is a constant of gravitation, which is 66.73 times 10 to the negative 12 meters cubed per kilogram dot second squared. So that's constant yon. So lagi yung value niya. Your M1, M2 naman are the masses of your two particles in question, yung sinusukatan mo ng gravitational attraction. And R naman would be the distance between two particles. Okay, so yun yung distance between the centers, okay, geometric centers of your two particles. Okay, so ito yung parang general formula. And ito rin yung ginamit actually to get yung value ng ating gravitational constant, 9.81, which is based on the mass of your object and the mass of the Earth. Parang particle 1 is the object, particle 2 is the Earth. Okay, so yung mass ng Earth, yung radius ng object mo to Earth, tapos yung gravitational constant, yun actually yung ginamit para makuha yung 9.81 meters per second mo na gravitational acceleration. Okay? So example tayo, two particles have a mass of 8 kilograms and 12 kilograms, respectively. If they are 800 millimeters apart, determine the force of gravity acting between them. Okay? So you have your two objects. Meron kang mass of those two objects. Meron ka ring distance between those two objects. So you can solve for the gravitational attraction force. So to do that, diretso plug and play lang. Okay? F equals G times M1 times M2 divided by R squared. So do not forget yung squared dun sa R. Usually yung nakakalimutan. Aking red laser pointer. Ito. Squared. Okay? So substituting the values, your G is constant, 66.73 times 10 to the negative 12. Your mass 1 is 8 kilograms. Your mass 2 is 12 kilograms. Your distance is 800. Pero dahil naka-millimeters to, we convert it to meters para uniform yung units. Okay? Homogeneity yan of units. Tapos you cannot combine units na different prefixes. Okay? Kailangan pare-pareho. So that's 800 times 10 to the negative 3. Tapos yung squared, huwag kakalimutan. Okay? So plug in this in the calculator, you will get 1.00095 times 10 to the negative 8 newtons. Okay? So direkta lang, plug and play yan. Okay? So may K nyo naman dito. So alam nyo na, you got to solve on your own para magkising-kising din naman yung mga calculator nyo. Okay? So sit work, determine the force of gravitational attraction between the Earth with a mass of 5.98 times 10 to the 24 kilograms and a 70 kilogram physics student. Hindi po ako yan kasi hindi ako physics student at lampas po ako ng 70 kilograms. Okay? I wish lang na 70 lang ako. Hindi ako yan. If the student is standing at sea level, a distance of 6.38 times 10 to the 6 meters from the Earth's center. Okay? So again, yung mass 1 mo would be the Earth. Binigay sa'yo yung mass ng Earth. Yung mass 2 mo would be the physics student. Binigay din sa'yo yung mass ng student. Okay? Then you have the distance R between them. Remember yung distance, even if nakatayo ka sa Earth, you are measuring the distance from the center of your objects. Okay? So center of the physics student, saka center ng Earth. Kaya, you have to measure your distance from the Earth's surface papunta sa center ng Earth. Okay, 6.38, that's 10 to the 6 meter. 6 meter, tama. Okay? So you have, ilan ba to? 2 minutes to solve this. Tapos balik ako sa Kahoot for your choices.
How was it?
Okay, so 0. So, nasa kahot na, hopefully nasa kahot na kayo para magbabago ranking. So, answer. So, determine the force of gravitational attraction. Okay, so the correct answer is 686 newtons. Okay, so how did we get that? Basically, substitute lang yung given. Okay, so the first is yung G, which is constant. 66.73 times 10 to the negative 12. Pero dito kasi minove ko na ng 1 decimal place to the left. Kaya naging negative 11 na yung exponent ko. But they're the same. Okay, Newton meter squared per kilogram squared. Times yung M1, which is 5.98 times 10 to the 24 kilograms, times yung mass 2, which is 70, divided by 6.38 times 10 to the 6 meters, yung R, pero do not forget, may squared pa yon. Okay, so your answer should be 686 point something something newtons. Okay, if you did not get this answer, medyo try nyo lang ulit ipindot sa calculus. Kasi medyo marami siyang times 10, times 10. Baka nagkamali kayo ng parentheses or ng raise or baka kailangan nyo maglagay ng parentheses pa para ma-separate yung values. Okay? But you should be getting 686 Newton there. Okay? So question as of now. Okay, so uno standing pa din ha. Sigets pa. Okay, dimensional units, idiretso na natin para tapos na tayo dito sa kasi online din naman. Maximize na natin and madali naman itong ma-absorb na online. Okay? Okay, dimensional units, when you have a certain dimension, for example, length of 100 meters, yung length doon is actually the dimension. So, yun yung hinahanap yung na quantity or property of the object. Yung 100 is the magnitude. Okay, so that's the magnitude of measurement ng object na yon. And yung last part, yung meters, is the units. So, yun yung standard at which you measured yung dimension ng object mo. Okay, so kung may length equals 100 meters ka, that means you have the length property of your object. Using the meter standard, you measured it has 100 times of that standard. So 100 meters. Okay, so yun yung length mo na ginamit. Okay? So basically, that's the dimension, this is the magnitude, this is the units. The dimension part, we have 7 of those. So we have 7 fundamental or primary dimensions in their SI. Okay? SI ito. Of course, merong units na hindi SI. Okay? So the 7 fundamental or primary dimensions are the length, the mass, the time, the temperature, the electric current, the amount of light, the amount of matter. Okay? These are the 7. Tapos, from those 7, kaya mo ngayon mag-generate ng different other dimensions by combining one or more of those fundamental dimensions. Okay, so these are the dimensions created by combining primary or fundamental units. So most common example ko dito is a density. Density is created by combining mass, tapos divide mo siya ng 3 times yung length mo at different directions. So, yung length mo at different directions, that will give you volume. You will get mass over volume. So, yun yung magiging dimension. Okay, so then those dimensions, since they are combination of the primary ones, they are considered secondary or derived. Okay? So this one, I think, is easy to understand. Unit systems naman, so yung part na yun, dimensions to. Length, time, density, volume, weight. Okay? Now, the units naman, we have two. We can either have the English or the USC system. So, ano ba yung USC system? So, yung inch. Tapos, pag lumaki-laki yung inch, magiging foot. Pag lumalaki-laki yung foot, magiging yard. Pag lumalaki-laki yung yard, magiging miles. Okay? So, ang challenge lang sa kanya, there's no apparent systematic numerical base. Okay? Yung conversion nung inch to foot, may conversion factor. Tapos yung foot to yard, may conversion factor din. Tapos yung yard to mile, meron din. Pero parang walang pattern kang makikita. So every conversion, you have to either memorize or use a conversion table for it. Okay? Kasi yung relationships between units are arbitrary, random values, so mahirap siyang move around. Okay? Which is why na-develop yung metric or SI system, where all the conversions are based on a base of 10. Tapos ang gagawin mo lang to convert one to the other is mag-a-add ka lang ng prefix dun sa base 10 mo to increase or decrease yung magnitude. Okay? So, globally, SI yung ginagamit, except of course sa US, kasi lumalaban pa din sila. Since they are one of the strongest economies, so parang sabi nila, hindi sila sasabay kasi kaya naman nilang magsarili. Okay? But the rest of the world, metric or SI na actually yung gamit. Okay? So how does metric or SI makes life easier? Kasi base of 10 siya. For example, you have 200 ml, M na maliit, L na malaki is liter. Okay, so M na maliit from our table here is milli. Yan, milli, which is 10 to the negative third. Okay, so yung 200 ml mo is actually equivalent to 0.2 liters. Okay, so equivalent lang sila. Nagkaroon lang ng prefix kasi ang goal mo, kaya ka nagpi-prefix is you want to represent the number in its most convenient form. What is the most convenient form? Yun yung walang decimal. Okay, decimal kasi in general is nakakalito siya. In general, pag nagbabasa ka, for example, or nagre-research ka, medyo pangit tingnan or basahin pag may decimals ka. So, kino-convert mo siya into a form na magiging whole number siya. Pero, i-adjust mo yung prefix niya. Also, may mga formula rin tayo, syempre, na would require you to have the number or the dimension in a specific unit. Kasi, kailangan mong makancel yung units, no? So, kung naka-kilogram yung constant mo, kailangan mong sumabay. So, you have to convert all your other quantities dun sa units na meron yung constant mo para hindi ka na mag-convert to another constant. Okay? So, it actually makes life easier as an engineer kasi the conversion becomes easier na at memorize mo na rin halos. Okay? So, for example, the second one, 1 kilogram, pwede mo siyang i-represent since kilo is from our table is 10 to the third. So you can actually represent this as 1 times 10 to the third grams lang. And they would be equivalent. Okay? Third one naman is a resistor. You can write it as 1 M na malaki from our table is mega. Okay? Then ohm. 1 mega ohm, since mega is 10 to the 6th, we can write this as 10 to the 6th ohms. Okay? So the conversion is easier. Okay? And I hope sa calculator niya din, alam niyo kung paano gamitin yan. Yung times 10 to the ang calculator. Okay? Since magamit natin siya lagi sa engineering. Hindi lang dito sa course natin, sa lahat ng engineering actually. Next, unit etiquette. So these are, I would say rules, pero I would say parang subject-verb agreement to eh. Alam mo yun? Sa English, parang grammar ng numbers, grammar ng dimensions and units. Para pag nagsusulat kayo ng papers or researches, or nagsispeak kayo sa mga convention in front of other people, parang tamang grammar or tamang vocabulary yung ginagamit nyo. Okay? So I would like you to follow this pag nagsosolve tayo ng problems. Hindi naman siya minus, pero parang kasi, alam mo yun, pag parang, alam yung pag nasa Facebook kayo, tapos comment section, tapos parang nakikipag-away, pero mali yung grammar, parang nawawalan kayo ng confidence dun sa person. Parang may ganong sense din siya. Na pag parang mali-mali yung units, yung ano. May impact din siya sa parang, it reflects din yung parang mastery mo of the topic. Tsaka yung ano mo, presentability din in front of many people. Okay? The first rule. Walang pointer. First rule, a space is provided after the magnitude and before the units. Okay? 13 kilogram, may space po after ng 3, before ng K. Huwag niyo pinagdidikit. Lalo yung mga M, yung mga S, 1, 2 meters, 3 seconds, pinagdidikit na nila yun usually. Space po dapat. Second, only the number 1 is singular. Okay? So kung 1, that's 1 watt or 1 kilogram. Kung 0.3, it's less than 1, pero you use seconds na to say it. Okay? Or kung plural naman, you will say 10 miles. Okay? There are different books then who might say differently, pero for our uniformity, stick tayo dito. Okay? Third naman, for numbers less than 1, a 0 should be placed before the decimal. Okay? So kung 0.45 hours siya, kasi hindi siya equal to 1, you put a 0 here. Okay? Para, why? It gives confidence dun sa decimal point mo. Kasi kung walang 0 yan, 0.45 lang, ako as nagbabasa, questionable yung point mo. Na may point pa talaga dun, baka napindot lang yung period ng keyboard. Or baka dumi, kung printed to, baka dumi lang to sa papel. Okay? Putting a 0 then gives confidence na may decimal talaga dun. Okay? Itong fifth, I provide 0 before the decimal point for decimal, same lang nitong nauna. Okay? Next, abbreviation is capitalized if galing siya sa name ng person na naka-invent and special case liter. Liter ng volume, liter. Lagi silang capital. So, compound, pound is hindi siya galing sa name ng person. So, LB lang siya, small letters. Abbreviation to Newton, galing siya sa person. So, abbreviated is just N. Pascal, abbreviated, it's capital PA from a name of a person. Liter, always capital, kahit hindi siya galing sa name. And ito, mg, milligram, of course, hindi siya galing sa name, so small letter siya. Ang sinasabi kong capital, yung first letter lang. Okay? Kung hindi naman abbreviation, it means full name siya. It is not capitalized, even if from the name siya ng person. Which is kung full name, which means kung itinipe out mo siya ng buo. Okay, so you would write Newton or Newtons, Pascal or Pascals with small p, ounces. Ounces naman is hindi talaga name ng person. So, never magkakaroon na capital O yan. Fahrenheit is a name of a person, pero kung dahil full siya tinipe, small f. Okay, same as Celsius. Kung tinatype mo yung Celsius, as CELSIUS, small c po yun. Okay? Yun yung common napapansin ko din sa mga papers. Full units then can be pluralized. Okay? Abbreviations can't be pluralized. Which means, for example, may 1 gallon ka, so 1 gallon. Kung 2 gallons, may S na. You write the S sa dulo ng gallon kung full siya. Okay? 2 gallons. Okay? Kung abbreviated naman, 1 kilogram, dahil 1 to, singular lang. So, 1 kilogram. 2 kilograms, hindi mo siya na-abbreviated, so kg. Hindi mo siya lalagyan ng S, kasi abbreviated siya, cannot be pluralized. Pero, pag binasa mo siya, tulad ko, binabasa ko, you would read it aloud as 2 kilograms with the S. Pero, hindi mo makikita sa papel na may S doon. Pero, pag binasa mo yan, 2 kilograms yan. Okay? Next is no space between prefix and units. Okay, for example, decimeter, wala po yung space na deci space meter or deci dash meter or deci underscore meter. Okay, buo siya, decimeter. Same with the other prefixes. Okay? Pero syempre, teka lang, taas ko lang. Pero syempre, ipa-follow nyo pa rin Oo. Okay. Mamaya. Check ko na lang ulit. Okay, so deci buo siya. Okay. Next is no period after the abbreviation of a unit unless it is the end of a sentence. Okay, so 2 feet. Yung 2 feet mismo, wala siyang 2 feet dot or 2, kung 2 meters yan, hindi yan 2 space m dot. Unless dulo ng sentence. Pag dulo ng sentence, may dot talaga. Pero that dot kasi is for the whole sentence. Hindi para dun sa unit mo. Okay? So, iwasan din natin gumamit ng incorrect terms, kilo, kilowatt. Sabi mo, pabili po 2 kilo ng manok. 2 kilowatt. Kilogram, kilometer. Okay? So, informal po yung kilo. Hindi siya laging assume grams yan. Weight yan. Okay? Centigrade is also wrong. It's Celsius. Or centigrade kasi centigrade of what? Grade of mercury, grade of temperature, grade of length. Okay? So, it's informal. Micron, usually ginagamit siya in lieu of micrometer. Pero mas tama talagang micrometer. Same as ton. We do not use ton anymore. It's metric ton na. So metric tapos TON. Metric ton. We do not use tonne or ton anymore ngayon. Okay, questions po? So ito, medyo marami siya, but by practice, kasasulat yun ng mga units, makapractice yun din siya. Okay? So, sabi nyo, may K na naman. So, dito tayo. Okay, so in front of you are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. 11 magnitudes and units. Okay? So, how many of these are wrongly written out? So, ilan yung mali? Mali ha, mali ang hinahanap natin. Okay, so you have 2 minutes to count, to evaluate and to count. Tapos lipat tayo sa Kahoot for the choices. Extend tayo ng konti ha, na naman kayong class. Tapos na din. Okay, tapos na magbilang. So, next ko na yung kahot, ha. So, ang choices nyo dito, ilan yung mali? Mali, ha? Yung may error sa pagkakasulat niya. Good. Ang dami sumagot. Okay? So, hopefully, hindi nahihirapan yung devices mo, no? But the correct answer is 7. Okay po, 7. Balik sa slide. So, these are the 7 items na may maling quotation. Okay? So, bakit? 200 ounces. Ito sabi ko, OZ lang siya, pero plural, pag binasa ko siya, ounces. Hindi po yung 10 ounce, 200 ounce. Okay? Ounces ang basa dyan. 200 ounces, tama yan. Maliit na letter, walang S, may space. Okay? Next, 12 seconds daw. Bakit siya mali? The acronym po ng second ay S lang. Okay? Hindi sec. Tapos pag plural, ginagawa yung SEC, sex. Okay? Mali. S lang siya. 12 space S lang dapat siya. Okay? 4 nanometers, ang mali sa kanya, yung nanometer, hindi dapat capital. Okay? Lahat ng prefix, if balikan ko dito, ito, lahat ng prefix, maliliit na letter yan. Pagbuo. Pero pag acronym, malalaki yung mga malalaki. Hanggang mega. Tapos doon pa lang liliit. Okay? May yung DA nga ng DECA, maliit din. Okay? Pero yung mula mega pataas, capital siya kung acronym. Pero kung whole susulat, small pa rin. Okay? Kaya mali ito because of N ng nanometers. 66 gallons, correct. Full, plural, may space. Small letter, kasi hindi naman siya name. Hindi. Pag full naman, laging small. Walang capital pag long. Okay? 8 ampere, mali kasi tama na ampere. Ampere is from a name, pero dahil full siya, small letter A. However, dahil full siya, nag-S siya pag plural. Okay, so 8 amperes dapat with the S. 2.4 gigahertz, ang mali, may space between gigahertz. Dapat po. Okay? Uh, 99 kilograms. Bakit mali? Kasi since this is abbreviated, wala dapat S. Okay, wait lang. Isa lang bitana. May nakaisip mag-ingay sa labas. Okay. So, 99 kilograms, mali kasi may S. 0.5 pounds per second. Okay. Mali siya 1, walang 0 in front of the decimal, which is our practice. Kaya not practice dito kasi yung 0 actually before the decimal, hindi siya ultimately wrong pag wala. Pwede siyang 0.5 lang actually. Pero by practice natin, susundin natin, laging meron for confidence purposes ng decimal. Okay? Pero kahit yung part na yun i-ignore mo, mali pa rin siya kasi may LBS dito. Pounds. Since abbreviated yung pounds, we do not put an S after it. Okay? So LB over S lang dapat siya, pound per second. Pounds per second. Okay? 0.25 metric tons, correct? So this is the correct way of using tons, hindi yung tons na T-O-N-N-E-S. Next is 77.0. M na malaki is mega, so megameter. So dahil acronym siya, the M is capital, tapos nakadikit sa M. To distinguish it from millimeter. Pag millimeter, small m, megameter, capital M, small m. Okay? 41 CD, that's 41 candela. Tama yan. May space. This is acronym, small lang. Then lastly, 101 watts. May space, tama naman. May S, tama naman. Pero since watts is a name of the person, we do not capitalize it pag full siya sinulat. Actually, parang wala namang kinakapital pag full. Lahat ay small. Yes, lahat ay small. Newtons, pascals, watts. Pag full nyo sa sinulat, small lagi siya. Even yung mga nanometers. Even yung megameter, di ba? Pag mega ay sinulat mo, small m naman siya. Pero pag m na m lang, capital. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 po yung wrongly written out. Okay? Questions po? Okay, so next tayo, significant digits. Ito, madali lang. Significant digits, para sabihin ko sa exam, write your answer in 4 or 5 significant digits. Okay? So, anong ibig sabihin? So, you just count kung ilang digits yung nasa answer mo. Okay? Count if yung may mga 0 ka, any non-zero pala, 1 to 9 na digits, na significant siya. Okay? Any 0 na naipit sa loob ng non-zero, significant din siya. Okay? So, the first example, 1508.06, 6851, significant. Yung 0 na ipit ng 5 at 8, itong 0 na to na ipit ng 8 at 6. So, significant tong lahat. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 significant digits to. Okay? So, basically, pag yung first digit mo tsaka yung last digit mo, non-zero, bilangin mo lang lahat. Tapos yun na yun. Okay? Now, the challenge is pag may 0, 0 ka sa harap, tsaka wala dito example, pero may 0, 0 ka sa likod. Okay? So, ang rule, the zeros are not significant when they are at the beginning of the number. Okay? Ibig sabihin, any 0 that is on the left side of your number na hindi naipit ng kahit anong non-zero dito, not significant siya. So, sa sample natin, yung unang 0, not significant. Second 0, not significant pa rin kasi wala pang umiipit sa kanila. First non-zero ito. So, dito pala magsisimula yung significant digits ko. Okay? So, pag nasa left, laging not significant yan. Basta wala ditong non-zero para umipit sa kanya. If yung 0 mo naman is nasa right, then lagi yung significant. Okay? Bakit siya lagi significant? Kasi writing those zeros, for example, 0, 1, 7, 0, 4, 0. Halimbawa may 0 dito. It will actually not affect yung value nung number mo, di ba? Kasi narito naman siya sa right. However, you writing down that 0 is conscious. Okay? Sinadya mong lagyan ng 0 doon kahit alam mong wala siyang impact dun sa number mo. And that consciousness, that kumbaga, conscious or that awareness na naglagay ka ng 0 doon makes it significant. Okay? Kasi parang sinadya mong ilagay eh. So may reason ka kaya ako, pag nagbabasa ako, may 0 dito, sinadya niya lagyan ng 0 kahit walang impact sa number. So may ibig sabihin to, significant to. Okay? So any 0 dito sa right side, kahit ilan man yan, would count as significant. Okay? Any question? Okay, okay, patapos na tayo. Kapit lang. Okay, last kahot. How many of these numbers have 5 significant digits? Okay, so sa number na yan, ilan yung may 5 significant digits? Okay, 2 minutes to, pero iwa 1 minute ko na lang ha. Para tayo yung ano. Magliliman naman yan. Okay, lipat ko na sa kahot because I feel nabilang nyo na rin naman. So, ilan yung may 5 significant digits? Okay, so the correct answer is 3. Bakit po 3?
Here's the definition of 3, equivalent to the sum of 1 and 2. 1 more than 2. The mic is muted.
Okay, so 3, bakit 3? Ito po. So yung first digit mo, first number natin is 5. That's clear kasi non-zero lahat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next digit is may 0 ka sa harap. So does that count? That does not count. So start ka mag-count dito. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. May 0 sa right side. Consciously naglagyan. So that counts. So 6. Okay? Next is, may 0 ka pa rin sa harap. So, lahat to does not count. You start counting from 9. And from 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hanggang dito sa last digit. So, that's 5 digits. Next is 1, non-zero yung start. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pero may conscious 0. Term ko dyan, conscious 0 kasi nilagay mo sa dyan. Conscious 0 sa dulo. So, you count it also. 7. So, 7 significant digits to. For the fifth naman, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then may conscious 0. So, you count that. So, 5 significant digits. Okay? So, 5. So, first, 1, 2, 3. Dito yung may 5 significant digits. Okay? Next naman is scientific notation. So, last na to. Madali lang naman to. Ginagawa nyo na siya. Okay? So, you just convert your whole numbers or your decimal digits to scientific notation. So, scientific notation, isa lang yung whole number, tapos naka-decimal na yung iba, tapos times 10 sa kung ilang places mo minove yung decimals mo. Okay? For example, 500, tas 500, narito yung dot niyan. So, you move the decimal place until maging isa na lang yung whole number mo. So, 1, 2. So, you move it 2 places to the left. So, that's 5 times 10 kung ilang, tapos raised to kung ilang beses ka nag-jump. So, 2. If that's 7,700,000,000, that's 7.7 kasi dito yung goal mo ng period, di ba? Para isa lang. You move this 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, you jump 9 times, so 7.7 times 10 to the 9. Pagpabalik naman, pag to the right, same lang, pero pababa yung exponent mo. So, from here, you jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, 9 jumps para maging 8.6. Tapos, since you're going to the right, you subtract your exponent. So, minus 9. Okay? So, for example, sa dalawang limang to, Hindi ko na ikakahot, pero for the first one, to convert it, this is decimal. 1, 2, 3. 3 jumps to the right, so that's 1.2. So since to the right, that's negative 3. Okay, 56 million, your decimal is here. 3, 6, 7 jumps to the left. So that's 5.6 raised to 7. Okay, your 256, 256. Narito yung decimal niyan, this whole number. That's 1, 2 jumps to the left. So 2.56 times 10 raised to the 2. Then kung pabalik naman, just the same. Okay? Pero, baliktad ng direction ng kanina. Kung yung to the left kanina, tumataas yung exponent. Ngayon, pag positive yung exponent, to the right ang galaw mo. So 5.3, this is 10 to the 4 to. You move the decimal place 4 jumps to the right. This is positive to the right. So 1, tapos 2, 3, 4. Okay, tapos yung natalunan mong walang digit, add 0. So you have 53,000. Kasi dito galing yan. Tapos 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps, tapos fill in the zeros lang. Kung negative naman, to the left. So from 7.8, you jump your decimal 3 points to the left. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so dito yung decimal, may dalawang bakante, you fill that with zeros. So 0.0078. So galing yun sa 7.8, 1, 2, 3 jumps to the left para negative. Okay? Yun, so that's it muna for today. Though pipicturean ko lang yung GC classroom natin. No need to turn on your cameras. I just because naging online tayo today, need ko lang picturean to real quick. Okay, that's it. Okay na. So that's it for today. No, tomorrow we will meet again. Meron lang tayong konting discussion sa simula, tapos meron tayong quiz afterwards about today's meeting, tsaka yung na-discuss natin last time about vector, addition, subtraction. Tapos baka kasama din yung topic tomorrow na content. Okay, but that's tomorrow. Okay, so sorry for overextending a little. Naksabay ko lang yung online class para makasabay tayo. Since first, second week wala tayong class. Right? So yun lang po, and see you tomorrow. Online pa rin tayo kasi wala pa rin face-to-face sa campus. Bye-bye po.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
po.
Thank you po, sir.